Welcome to the business edition of PM Express, and today we are looking at away from the talk about attracting capital to Ghana, foreign direct investment. What are we doing to ensure that when these businesses bring in their capital, they get that peace of mind to do their business? What they were promised in terms of good things on the ground, return on equity, good return on the investment, they actually realize it. Talk about the fact that it is easier to register business in Ghana, the issues about taxes, and also the concerns about a judicial system and adequate power supply. So, on Business Edition of PM Express, we ask ourselves, away from the talk and convincing people out there to bring in their capital, are the situation on the ground good for these foreign investors? In the wake of the Ghana Investment and Opportunities Summit that actually ended a while ago in London, we're trying to look at these topics, discuss these issues, and see whether we are indeed prepared when it comes to competing with the global capital, competing with countries like South Africa, competing with countries like Egypt, Nigeria, Kenya, and attracting the required investment into Ghana. You're welcome back from Business Edition on PM Express as we look at away from the talk and attracting investment into Ghana. What are we doing to ensure that indeed we make Ghana that competitive country among the likes of South Africa, Egypt, Kenya, Morocco, and even our neighbors, Nigeria? Are we walking the talk when it comes to making the environment right for doing business in this country? It's a whole lot of debate out there, and in this time when Ghana is actually engaging investors in London at the Ghana Investment and Opportunities Summit, we ask ourselves whether indeed we are ready to compete in the global FDI space by ensuring that access to capital, registration of business, the taxes, whether you have to talk about the judicial system, and all those things when you compare ourselves to other countries in the region, whether indeed we are poised to make business, or indeed we mean business. I've been trying to engage lots of businesses out there, government regulators, and those who are managing the investment space. We'll be hearing from Dr. Lawrence Jensen. We'll be hearing from Mr. Jensen. He is actually the chief executive of Exim Bank. Also, be hearing from Alex Dade. He's a board member of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center and also the chairman of the planning committee that put together the just ended Ghana Investment Opportunities Summit here in London, and also the chief executive of the Ghana Investment Promotion Authority. But first, let's hear from Kojo Oppong Nkrumah. He is the Minister of Information. And what is it that government is doing in terms of keeping the environment right, in terms of governance, corruption? What have you? Are they doing it right to ensure that when it comes to investment, when it comes to capital attraction, Ghana will be on the minds of investors? Let's listen to Kojo Oppong Nkrumah. He is Minister of Information.
Capital is always difficult to come by anywhere in the world. The way to ensure that you get flows of capital is to, first of all, have a fertile opportunity. Secondly, be good at marketing that fertile opportunity. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We've done some work in the last 3 years to put government of Ghana and Ghana on a good level on the investment pedestal. What now remains is to market it in a very attractive way to the investment community so that they will see Ghana as the opportunity among the various opportunities. And that's what we've been doing here for the last 2 days. The president himself set the tone, and then we went into specific sectors: agriculture, industry, natural resources, digitization, financial services, seeking to attract investments and skills to complement what we're doing in Ghana. And we are hopeful that it would deliver some good results for us at the end of the day.
Kojo, one critical thing often is said is that after the talk, how do we also prepare the ground so that when the capital comes, it stays, it doesn't go back?
I mean, that's a good question. So the GIPC itself has been here. The GIPC has set up various desks, both here and in Accra, to onboard people who may have the initial interest beyond this platform. You recall in my closing submissions, I was making the point that we need people to come on board, and if you have any challenges whatsoever, be quick in drawing our attention to it through the GIPC so that they can facilitate what needs to be done, and then you can also now have an opportunity to settle and do the business. Secondly, people also need to have it at the back of their minds that doing business anywhere in the world is not a tea party. there will be difficulties, but we need to brace ourselves, like any entrepreneur does in any market, brace ourselves to conquer the challenges and make a good buck at the end.
There's been talk about a one-stop shop, and that's always been, how do we simplify the process? How far have we come in, again, simplifying the process so that, again, when the capital comes, it stays, and even looking at more of partnership compared to other developed markets where it is critical that when you come in with a Ghanaian or support a Ghanaian so that the capital stays in.
So the one-stop shop concept at the GIPC is only meant to be a facilitating shop, because the reality is that you need multiple permits from multiple areas depending on what you want to do. Is it EPA, is it the district assembly, is it GIPC registration, or what? So the one-stop shop only serves to facilitate your engagement with all of these entities, and the GIPC has been moving at a quick pace to achieve that, and we hope that they'll be fully successful at that in the shortest possible time. But we are promoting partnerships with local Ghanaian businesses. We think that if you have a local business partner who is not just a front for you, but is indeed a partner to your business, a number of things will happen. Your walk through in the local system is easier and faster. Capital will stay. There will be skills transfer. And in the long run, there's a higher likelihood of your business staying a Ghanaian business for a long period of time, especially in this era where we are doing a lot of local content laws and programs to promote local participation in some of our biggest industries coming. So what we're encouraging the investors to do is not just to come and throw money at our system, but come and find local partners to work with.
I know the finance minister earlier in his presentation gave the commitment about fiscal prudence, but also it's not just about the economy, it's also about governance as well. Going into an election year, what kind of assurance do you have for these investors, away from the fiscal side, good governance playing the role the government has to do to ensure that the environment is peaceful for businesses to grow?
I mean, first of all, you'll notice that many of the things we're rolling out, we are wrapping them up in law. If it's the bauxite opportunities, if it's the iron opportunities, we're wrapping them up in law. And that shows clear commitment that we intend to have these things outlive any particular administration. Even for the fiscal regime that we're talking about, we've passed a law to ensure that we are able to keep that kind of discipline we're talking about. But beyond the law, you also require commitment from government. And if you observe how we have acted in the first 3 years of our administration, there's that clarity that we intend to have the institutions of state be strengthened and to work. And that should give confidence to any investor that Ghana is a country that is focused on building strong institutions to deliver on its regulations.
Yeah, sure that despite the election coming up, things are not going to change for the West, because there's still some level of apprehension among the investors sitting
There's
on
no apprehension. You are promoting the apprehension. There's no apprehension. Okay. People should be confident in the fact that this country is clear in what it wants to do, has set what it wants to do within legal parameters, and is showing the commitment to live by them.
Well, you're welcome back from the break, where earlier on you had some interesting thought from the Information Minister on what they are doing to make sure that Ghana is the right place. Well, the judgment or the verdict is in your court for you to make the judgment whether indeed you are satisfied as a businessman in terms of doing business in Ghana. What are some of your concerns? Some are saying that, listen, compare ourselves to the likes of South Africa, the likes of Kenya, the likes of Egypt. Maybe we have a lot of work to do. But what about some who might even argue that our trump card is the peaceful environment compared to some of these regions or compared to some of these countries when it comes to political stability? Maybe that is our trump card. How are we also marketing that? Have we actually taken it lightly in terms of the fact that we are doing well in terms of political stability, and that alone can do the trick for us in terms of bringing in the capital? I have with me here Madam Efua Asabia. She is the Chief Executive of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. I also have Mr. Ajensan. He is with the Ghana Exim Bank, and also Mr. Alex Dade. He's a board member of the Ghana Investment Promotion Authority and also the chairman putting together this whole event for us. We're going to have our own discussion here in terms of attracting investment to Ghana. After this summit, what next, and how we position Ghana as the best place to do business in the sub-region, in Africa, and maybe in the world. So let me start with Mr. Adade. Help me out. So first, why this program?
Thanks. I think we set up this program, the Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit, 2 years ago. And it's programmed to be a biennial summit. It was we had a vice president with us last year. This year, 2 years ago, this year we had the president. And the theme we picked this year was accessing the African common market through Ghana, technology, digitalization and industrialization. The aim of the summit, as Ghana prepares to host the headquarters of the Continental Free Trade Area, Britain also prepares to exit Europe. And as you know, Ghana and the United Kingdom have had relationships for a very long time, been doing business for a very long time, and we thought it was the right time to reset the agenda to trade between ourselves more. So that was the reason why we picked that theme, and that's the motive behind the investment summit this year.
Since you are one of the chief actors putting this together, I also want to find out from you that, so it might be early days yet, but what are you hoping to achieve with this summit? This is the second time you're putting it together. Is it going to be another talk shop, or listen, we are moving beyond just the talk to action and ensuring that when people bring their capital to Ghana, they get value for money?
I think I've attended quite a few summits, and it depends on what you want to take from a summit. With summits like this, some people come in to find partners, others come in to find investment. So we have diasporans in here who want to go back home. So it depends on what you take from a summit. I don't think that the results of a summit can only be measured in terms of the contracts that are signed there. And I'll give you a clear example. I was in Dubai for the Global Economic Summit in November. We had a lot of talking and that to do. But as we walked out of the door, myself and my colleague, we met a gentleman, right? And we kept on talking. He asked us why we were there. But in short, right, after engaging with this gentleman after the summit, a 2-day summit, right, he's now a business partner of mine, which means that after the talking and that, right, the networking was so important. So we can see a lot of people doing that kind of networking and that. So it doesn't always become a talking shop. And there's also the policy side. There were a lot of British businesses here who wanted to hear from the Ghana policy makers. We had a lot of Ghanaian institutions here. Exim Bank, an example. Ecom, an example. Huge businesses, right, that other people who want to come into Ghana to do business, right, want to hear from these people. It's always better to hear from those guys who have been on the ground, and that is the main thing that you can take away from investment promotion. Sometimes it's the policy, but most of the time you want to hear from companies that have done it, who have been on the ground, and that is some of the main things that you can get from summits like this.
Let me go to Mr. Jinsam, Ghana Exim Bank. So how are you convincing the investors here, or what story are we selling to the investors who are here, and talk about Ghana Investment Bank, Exim Bank's role in this whole investment drive?
Thank you very much. As has already been said this morning, the theme for this program, Assessing African Common Markets through Ghana, Technology, Digitization and Industrialization. We come in at the industrialization end, but you cannot industrialize without technology or digitization. As you saw this morning, we've been able to close a deal of $100 million with Credit Suisse, which is a branch in London. So already, there is a testimony that this investment opportunity is yielding fruits. This started 2 years ago, again on the sideline on an investment opportunity that the Vice President held. So for Exim Bank, we are the principal bank to be able to promote exports. And in promoting exports, from the whole value chain, from the raw material to the time that it gets to the shop, we are supposed to be the one to provide the funding and making sure that Ghanaians make investment also overseas. We have already invested in the pharmaceutical space. Over 60 million has been done to make sure that Ghana becomes a pharmaceutical hub. We have within 2 years been able to fund a greenfield, the first one district, one factory that the President of the Republic of Ghana cut a sod in 2017, which is EcoJuice. With this, we've been able to even bring it to UK as a sign of a demonstration of how far Ghana has come in terms of our packaging. And that is a sign of the fruits that we are bearing as an Exim Bank. So, coming to this forum, we want to tell the people here that it is possible in Ghana. There is that country attractiveness, that the financial indicators are well good, and that Ghana is a way to go. As Yofi rightly said, we are the center of the world. We're talking here about agribusiness, we're talking here about tourism, the productive sectors of the economy. That will make sure that we'll be able to create employment, that will make sure that we'll be able to stabilize the city and provide food sufficiency for our people. That is what we seek to do.
Let me bring in Madam Asabia Asare. And there's a lot of attention on Ghana now. How is your agency, your authority, taking advantage of this to also sell the Ghana product, sell the Ghana offerings in terms of export? Some are saying that it's not even just about the product, but even the persons and the lovely people at the authority who are pushing the country out there, this of marketing our product, our service offering, and the person Ghana as well.
Thank you for this question. Ghana Export Promotion Authority is actually doing the best that it can to put Ghana on the map. We are not just doing that by working with the exporters. We are also working with even the people at the workplace, the staff. So we have a training school. We have the Export Training School. The Export Training School trains the exporters as well as our staff to understand the dynamics on the international markets, to understand what the market needs, to understand what it takes to enter a market. So all of this come to play. So it's not just about the exporters. We train both the exporters and the staff that work there. We have positioned ourselves in such a way that we communicate with everyone around the world. We have our very, very, very good research center that does a lot of research on the international market to see what's going on, and we feed this to our exporters, feed this to the office as well. So we know what is happening around the world, what it takes to get our people there, to get the products onto the market and all of that. All this is taken into consideration when we say that we are in charge of exports at Ghana Export Promotion Authority.
Some will also say that in terms of the attention as well, how are we leveraging? Has it been more easier in marketing our product now than before? Or you think that there's still work in continuum just because you're, again, competing with other bigger economies that have made the name in the market? But some will say that now we're talking about year of return, all our names are all over the world and all the rest. Is it more easier now to market these products, or listen, competition comes with us every day because others are also competing in the space?
I mean, the popularity that Ghana is gaining gives us some leverage, but still there are specifications. And these specifications become tighter and tighter as we talk about how to maintain the environment and all of that. So you get new specifications coming up all the time. So we need to keep up. So it's not as easy as it looks that a lot of people know about Ghana now, so it's very easy to market. We market according to specifications. You need to get all your certifications in place before you can take anything out. Something that we may overlook or accept in Ghana may not be acceptable in another country. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, thank you so much, Madam. And if you've just joined us, this is PM Business Edition of PM Express coming to you live from London, where we're having the Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit, talking to those who matter, those who are behind the summit. When we return from the commercial break, I'll be getting more from Mr. Dade about what are they doing in Ghana to ensure that when I bring in my capital, it's value for money. Let's talk about one-stop shop. What is being done to ensure that all these things are put in place? This is the Joy Business Edition of PM Express coming to you live from London, where we are talking about investment attraction. After the talk, what next? How do we ensure that there's value for money? We're coming to you live from London at the Ghana Investment Opportunity Summit 2020. We'll be back after this break. So if you've just joined us, this is the business edition of PM Express. We're coming to you from London, where the Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit is currently ongoing. And we're looking at, beyond the talk, what do we do to ensure that we realize the capital and make Ghana the preferred investment destination, not in the sub-region, but in Africa, maybe being the number one in the world. Can I get back to Mr. Dade about ensuring that when we bring in the capital, I bring in about $500 million, I get value for money. There's been talk about one-stop shop. How have we come with that initiative as well?
I think talking about the one-stop shop, I think GIPC and other agencies, the Registrar General and all those agencies have made quite good progress. So it's easier to register your business, and that even at the GIPC we're doing a lot of reforms. I think that sometime this year it will be laid before Parliament. It was mentioned that when we started those reforms and we engaged stakeholders, Ghana hadn't signed the Continental Free Trade Agreement, so we probably have to go back to the drawing board and see if we have to do a few reviews. But we are constantly updating and also ensuring that Ghana becomes a preferred destination of business. I think GEPA, our own friends at Export Bank, Exim Bank, and other agencies are making sure that it becomes a preferred destination. In terms of sometimes we have complaints about capital requirements. We're looking at that because in today's environment there are certain industries that don't need that much money, especially in the tech sector. You know, we have minimum capital requirement for foreigners of 500,000, and if it's a joint venture, 200,000. We are looking at reviews and all these things, so anyone bringing money can get value for that.
I asked the question, the bit about value for money. There's also the question about the local partnership and opportunities as well. One typical, and I'll be coming to Madam and then Mr. Jinsan for their thought on it, that there was this vibe about consumption of local rice. But I spoke to one businessman who was complaining that I went to the market for the first time. I wanted to buy local rice for my workers, and I could not get some. There's a challenge about supporting local businesses in all these things, in all the investment attraction. What is the center doing? I'll be getting Madam's thought on it about supporting local businesses to also benefit from this whole capital attraction game that we're doing.
I think those are the sort of questions that you probably have to ask Exim Bank and also the agencies responsible for getting quality. Because as you know, people will go for quality. We have to improve the quality, so we have to look at even the Agric Ministry or the agencies and the Agric Ministry that are ensuring quality. Because if you have quality products, you don't have to and also marketing is one area of it, right? So those are areas that we've got to improve on. Once you get those areas right, then obviously the value for money that you are talking about, I don't know what you mean by that, but I believe that you are talking about people patronizing made in Ghana products. It's about marketing and it's about quality. So as we improve the quality, we will get it right.
Let me get Mr. Jensen's thought on it. Some will say that the buck stops with you in supporting these local farmers as well to take advantage of the opportunities that they bring. What is your outfit doing about that?
Thank you very much. Specifically on the rice, as you saw last year, there was the intensive marketing. And with that intensive marketing, it was purely due to demand and supply issue. In this case, I think the demand was way higher than the supply due to the fact that, again, for the first time, Ghanaians came to believe in our own products due to quality and due to packaging. So there has been an improvement and there has been an investment. But it's a continuous exercise. It shouldn't stop. I am told that with that exercise, over 100 youth this year has gone into rice farming. So the results, again, Ghanaians, we need to be a bit patient. There are no quick fix to some of these things because from planting to the harvesting, it takes time. And it is my hope that more Ghanaians, again, the middle class investors, should now begin to see agribusiness as a business, farming as a business, and investing in it. Because the consumption is there, the market is there. We import almost over $600 million of rice to this country. So there's already a market for it. That's not in question. There's no question about it. What needs to be done is we making sure that Ghanaians making sure that we invest and don't leave it to the peasant farmer. Let's do commercial farming. And believe you me, for what happened in 2019, it is my prayer that those who didn't get the rice to buy, they will not lose interest and go back to the imported rice. But they will still demand of the local rice. And our local rice farmers will then see the prospect and the potential in the rice farming business. With that, Exim Bank and other banks will then make the investment to make sure that at least we are able to increase the capacity and the production of rice farming and satisfy. But it will take a period of 3 to 5 years to be able to make sure that production increases. But we should continue to sustain that because with that, it's going to create employment, it's going to make sure people become economically, good. And that is what I will say for now. And it will also help us to be able to package the things and provide the quality.
Let me go to Madam Asabia, the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, and whether in all these things, are you worried about local ownership and local content? Because the Bank of Ghana tells us that we are exporting a lot more, but when in terms of the returns, it looks like Ghanaians are shortfall in terms of the returns that are coming in terms of the ownership of these earnings that are coming in. Is that a problem for you as we grow our export? How do we also ensure that Ghanaians own a chunk of these exports that are going out so that when the returns come in terms of the dollars, it's for us, madam?
But what we take out mainly is what is processed in Ghana. And a lot of the things that we take out, products that we take out and services that we take out there are Ghanaian owned. So I have a firm belief that whatever is going out there is coming back home. And it's coming back home to Ghana. It is up to us to actually gain that capacity to supply. We don't even have the capacity to supply. For me, that is the issue right now. Because when we go out there looking for markets and all of that, when we get the markets and we come back, we cannot even supply. So what I am thinking we should do now is to strengthen the base. We should make sure that we support the exporters to do what they have to do. If I look at my budget for this 2020 this year, if I could get all of what I have asked for to support the exporters, really, what we did last year will be bigger. But I know that there's not enough money to go around. So the little that we have, we would use that. But we need to strengthen the base. Otherwise, there's no point in looking for market outside when somebody wants 1 million bags of rice and we can only give maybe 500,000. Then what are we saying? We cannot go out there selling what we don't have. Thank you.
Well, as we bring our program to an end, I'm going to get the final thought from all my distinguished guests here on this program, on the business edition of PM Express. And Mr. Dade, I mean, how positioned are we as Ghana to ensure that we become the preferred investment destination, maybe in Africa?
I think we're well positioned, as you can see from this summit, the interest that has been shown. Wherever we've been around the world, there's been a lot of interest shown. We are, through this summit, trying to re-engage, like I said, the British. I hope that in about a year or 2 years' time, when we come here, we can report the foreign direct investment that has come in as a result of some of these initiatives that we have introduced. So, and like we also talked about the reforms that we're doing back home. And you heard a lot from people like Yofi and that about some of the fundamentals back home. The interest rates are fairly stable. The currency is also fairly stable. So those are sort of things that investors look at. It's fairly peaceful place to do business. So those are some of the things that investors look at. So I am very, very confident that, and also with the policies introduced by the new government, they are more business friendly. I'm fairly confident that when we sit here next year or in 2 years' time when we have this summit, right, we can report huge progress.
Mr. Jensen, how positioned are we again in terms of Exim Bank guarantee in making Ghana the preferred place to do business and attract the required capital from you?
Several factors. One, we've had a stable democracy. We shouldn't take it for granted. Over the years, now capital, Ghana is number 9 in Africa, and a lot of capital is going to the Eastern Africa. But it boils down also to governance. You have to play a part. The judiciary has to play a part. The media has to play a part in making sure that we sell good stories to the outside world. It doesn't come cheap. It also has to take the leadership. And that is why you see the president doing well in making sure that there's a lot of FDI coming into the country. For us in Exim Bank, as you've seen, under 3 years we've been able to raise 100 million. It also has to depend on leadership and systems and procedures that we've put in place to make sure that when it comes to we being scrutinized and having risk assessment, we'll be able to deliver. So it's a collective action by all Ghanaians. From the man on the street, from the airport, to the hotel, to everywhere, we must make sure. Just like when you go to Mauritius, you go to other countries, even if it's tourism, you have everybody singing the same tune. The political tension has to be reduced, even when we are in an election year, to make sure that the businessman, he wants stability at the bottom of the day and the return on his investment. But I think so far, we need to tout our own achievements. Ghana has come a long way. But when you go back home, you still hear a discourse of negativity. It has to tone down. The political tensions and the political debates have to give way to developmental discussions and how we can take this country, industrialize, and leap forward into the fifth industry that South Korea and others are having smart cities. That is what I will say for now.
The final question from Madam Osobia. Some will say that the president talk about Ghana beyond aid. A lot. It's on your life to also ensure that we export more and earn more in terms of non-traditional export. How are you positioning yourself in all these things?
But that's why we are here in this program, because the more FDIs that come in, the more people set up factories, set up industries, and the more we are able to export what they produce. So we really appreciate a program like this that exposes Ghana and what Ghana has to offer to the rest of the world, because we know that when people latch onto programs like this and they listen and they feel like coming to invest in Ghana, it's also going to bring in the much needed foreign exchange that we need when we take whatever they produce out there onto the market to sell. Thank you
very much. And well, all too soon we have to draw the curtain down on the business edition of PM Express, coming to you live from London as we engage some very distinguished personalities at the Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit live, coming to you from London. Head Madam Ifua Sabia Sari. She is the Chief Executive of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. Also heard from Sergeant San. He is with the Ghana Exim Bank Guarantee. And also some of the brains or the brain behind this summit, Mr. Alex Dade. He also is a board member of the Ghana Investment Promotion Authority and also one of the lead members putting together this program. We believe that we've set the debate beyond the talk in trying to realize the capital attraction to Ghana and ensure that you and I and everybody here gets real value for money. My name is George Jaffe. Have a great day.